Ka Sorkar MDA Balayalam da u Conrad Sangma, Kalarai ban Khot ya baroh ki kynhun bapher, Kentup ya ki seng san perthei, bat ki seng bhalang, Jingiakren halor ka jingterwa penrungi ki kindon bayasriem bat ka ILP, haka Immigration and Foreigners Act 2025, kabatmu ban lakam ya ka jingwan rung kerthep ki beriu ki banabar ka jela, bat ki menderi. Ngin sa Khot ya baroh ki seng san perthe bat ki seng bhalang Jingiakren ya kani ka jingterwa ong umentri rang ba Conrad ki sangma habakren shakilat pathai ku bor haga kat santrik kla Lincoln habakren halor ki jing persha ya kani ka jingterwa klem datip ya ki benta ki badan hapo jongka kamlong ka badayengi bansushim ya karai klem da yo ishwa ya ki benta ki badan haga jingterwa bat ya ka an baroh ka wei bakumnongin penya shakmat ya ka ulaong u Conrad ula banjur halor ka jingdan kam bandan ya ka jingmut ka batay da ka baong kamat ka jongi ka day ka jingwan rung bean jong ki mender kamat kam day ka ILP kamat kam day ka Immigration Act kamat kam day ka MRSSA gidan kam ya kaan gidan kam ikilat kilinti bantela kam ya ka ula kintui kilang persya ban shimbenta ka jingiakren batong ngim ong baka ka bangi terwa kan long ka baday ngil la ban bakla hendre nga tharay ngan la ban ya shimbenta ya kata ka rai la dangi don ya ka jingamir jingmut ni ka jingiakren markelyang katkum ka jing ong jong u ka sorkar ka thmu ban penbiang tarajur halor ka jingdan kam ban perking ya ka jingwan rung bean jo ki menderi bat ki jingso kya jong ki patba bat ki seng bhalang.
Number one, it would be incorrect for us to jump to any conclusion without actually seeing the content and the entire mechanism of how we would move forward in this. So it's quite strange to see that without even knowing what is going to be put in there, or what you just simply say, oh, we oppose it because the government of Meghalaya is proposing it, and we are opposition, so we'll oppose everything the government says. I think that's not the kind of mindset with which we can work or which we should work with. We should be working towards resolving the problem and playing a constructive role as an opposition. Now, having said that, what is our issue? Our issue is the illegal immigration. Issue is not ILP. Issue is not Immigration Act. Issue is not MRSSA. I keep repeating our issue is illegal immigration, and therefore we need laws. We need mechanisms to check it. And I think the focus of political parties and organizations should be towards achieving that. And therefore, we're not saying that what we propose is going to be right. We could be, wrong, or we would be missing out something. That's fair. But I guess we can only reach that conclusion if we are able to have a dialogue and if we talk to each other. And therefore, what Deputy CM had said that time was something that we are intending to do. We're trying to work towards it. We're trying to move forward and see and explore whether that is a possibility. Because when you try to do one part, then government of India will say, well, this is possible, but this is not. If you try to do something else, and the public says, well, we don't, accept this one. So we're trying to find a balance and a way in which we are able to get government of India also on board, and we're able to get the public also and the organization, civil society on board, and achieve the final goal of being able to have a system and a mechanism in place to check illegal immigration. And I think that is really what the objective is. So therefore, you may say this, but if I were to ask you the question, which particular clause or which particular part of this proposal are they objecting? There's no answer because there is no written proposal yet. So therefore, even to oppose, one has to understand what are you opposing. So what is the mechanism? So we need to discuss this. So we will be, of course, calling political parties, we'll be calling organizations to discuss this issue. And obviously only after getting a full clarity on everything and explaining to everybody how we plan to go forward with this and getting a sense of consensus from everybody, then only we'll try to move forward. But we've just started exploring. So before even exploring, you're just simply saying no to it. I think it's like really not, how a political party and leadership and how organizations, should to perceive things. We need to discuss dialogue. After understanding, if they find that there is something that we don't agree to, we'll try to find out ways to mend it. or amend it or bring in new aspects. So all this requires dialogue. All we are saying right now, and what Deputy CM was saying that time, is that there is another option. Let's explore it. Let us see if it could serve the purpose of having a restriction and to illegal immigration and having checking and mechanisms to look at all those aspects. So that's what really the intent was.
Habak kentat ya kajingkam jong unong yalam liang persya umukul sangma baka sorkar kala pulam ban pentrekam ya ka Meghalaya Resident Safety and Security Act MRSSA Conrad ulaong ya ka MRSSA la pentrekam menta bat buon kisnong kila pentrekam ya kani. Umintri rang ba ula kubur halor ki jing ha ka jing pentrekam da kabak daw ya ki jingran kam ha ka liang ki jing te bat ki jing bay tingka Henry ula banjor halor ka jinga syakman haki babun ki jaka.
In fact, some of them even wrote to us saying that we will not be part of this discussion. So that's where we stand. So we have to.
Halor ka jingkop jong umukul ya ka sorkar banwanra ya ka ain thymmai lada kim shania ya ka MRSSA umintri rang ba ulaong banwanra ya ka ain thymmai ka system thymmai kani ka day ka jingiakren menta kidan katu kani ka jing ha ka MRSSA.
MRSSA is being implemented. And in fact, in many of the localities, we have put up the systems. There are, of course, challenges because there's infrastructures to be created, certain level of investments to be made, which we're doing in the different levels in different localities. And many of the localities, the MRSSA is being implemented. And most of the localities, in fact, have shown a very positive response and things are going quite well. So it's incorrect to say that MRSSA is not being implemented. So if you go and talk to localities, I'm not saying in all areas it is done, but in large numbers it is being done and it is being expanded. And the work is in progress because it's a long list of villages and localities. So therefore, obviously, it's not possible for us to implement it everywhere, but the process has started and it's going on. Number two, to bring up a new law, new system, that's exactly what we are discussing, that there are certain challenges in the MRSSA. As I was mentioning earlier, that the old MRSSA, in the Act, there are certain provisions that are there, whereas in the rules, there are certain provisions that have been created which do not go along with the Act itself. So, for example, the rules mentioned about the fact that, and this is during the earlier government's time, so they came out with the rules that said that entry and exit checkpoints will be created. Now, if you go back to the Act does not have any provision within the Act that says that check gates can be put up. But the rule says that the check gate can be put up. So now we all know that the rules are made on the basis of the Act. So if the Act does not have the provisions for that, the rules cannot say that you can have check gates. So there is a disconnect between that. For whatever reason it was done that time that I'm not very sure about. But it does not go in line with the Act itself. So therefore, there are a lot of areas which there's a disconnect and it's not, the Act and the rules are not matching. And all those aspects of the, check gates being implemented without the change in the rule, in the Act itself cannot be done. So therefore, we had moved forward, if you remember, to amend the Act and bring in these provisions and have a system where we would have the registrations happening. But as you all remember and recall, that we had concerns from the then governor, and we were not able to carry forward the amendments that we had passed in the assembly to enable the provisions of having a system to having a checkpoint where entry exit will be done. So therefore, those challenges are still there, and we were hoping that through this immigration procedure, is there an option in which we can look into the aspect of this and see if some provisions can be used to enable us as a state government to have that mandate to look into the checking points. So we feel that we need to discuss this, and that's why we are discussing these aspects. Obviously, it will involve many stakeholders. We'll talk to everybody, political parties, organizations, and everybody, and see how we can achieve that mandate.